Hey everyone, and welcome finally to a new movie habitat. Today we are going to build the Heart region from the latest Disney movie Raya and the Last Dragon. Don't worry, there will be no spoilers ahead in here. We are going to talk about a little bit in general about the movie and about the build over here. First things first, this build is going to be somewhat of a starter map. So in case you guys want to know or want to build something related to this movie, or just having a very cool little starter map, this is for you. It's not going to be like a very elaborate habitat or whatnot. This is mainly about this wonderful mountainscape on which you have a little castle, or I don't know, it is kind of a temple in the middle, and this is where we are looking at. You can see I'm blocking it away at the beginning, making this little block section in which I can understand where the temple or this all is, and playing around a little bit with the light here to understand where the lighting needs to go, and then we're going to do this. So this is potentially one of the smaller movie habitats, if you will, but I think maybe one of the most useful ones for you guys out there. So the download link will be available in the description as always, and you will be able to play from over here. There is barely any DLC animal requirements. However, I don't really know which pieces I used exactly, so you're gonna have to check it out yourself. Sorry for that. Simply, reason being, I have all the pieces available. I barely even check if there is anything for DLC available or not. But I think, potentially there is not every DLC included, because I use just a little amount of pieces. But yeah, you will see that later on. So first of all, we are going to do the landscaping, and oh boy, I love this. This is just so relaxing, so cozy, and so enjoyable to watch in a speed build. So this is also the reason why I sped it up a little bit more than usual, simply because landscaping takes a lot of time in this game. But now let's talk a little bit about the movie. I think, this movie fell a little bit victim to Disney's weird pricing policy. I'm not gonna hold back with it. The price of this movie is ridiculous. You're paying in Germany it was 21.99 euros. I think in dollars it's $30 in total, 29.99 as far as I've seen that. Which no, I wouldn't pay for that on my own, not at all. We did this in our family group. We've got a family account, and everyone, we put it together, so it was somewhat okay. I'm also not a big, I am kind of okay with paying a little bit extra in these times for a premiere or whatever. My problem is it is a streaming service that you already subscribe to. You already pay, well, quite some money for the streaming service, and then they ask you to pay even more for one movie. Like if, for example, if the VIP access would even be for, let's say, 3 or 4 or even a quarter of a year for all the movies being released in that section, fine, we could discuss about that. But oh boy, I don't know, Disney, I don't know. I mean, I get where they're coming from. If you go to cinema, you would, normally people watch it 2 people at a time, and then, this price would be kind of what you would pay for the tickets. I get it, but this is not how you do this. This is not, because people already pay the subscription. They are at home at the moment. They have different things in their mind than just paying a company like Disney so much money, which still is making a whole bunch of money. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused about the pricing policy. So I just want to get that rid at the very beginning. So if you guys can share that with a lot of friends, do it, or just wait until the movie is finally released for free to Disney Plus, then you can watch it. Because I think the movie is really good. Like, not gonna lie, it's maybe not the best movie ever Disney has done, and especially the animated ones have some really good ones, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I have to say it's definitely amongst the best ones since Moana. And I like the characters, I like the setting, I like the different worlds. I think the most, or the biggest criticism I would have, is that the movie feels a little bit too rushed, and I wouldn't even, they could have taken a couple of more minutes to build the characters and the worlds a little bit more, because the worlds they are in, they have a huge potential, and that's also why I got triggered building this movie habitat. So just for you, as a little, if you don't know what this is about, this is the section Heart. So this land in which they're living in is divided into some different lands, and in each and every land there is like a different focus. Some of them are living in a winterscape area, some others live in a Venice-like river city, you know, if you will. And this one over here is Heart, which is where the protagonist is living actually. And this is kind of this weird donut-shaped mountain on which there is the temple, and there is also something hidden in there in which they do secure the Dragon Stone, which is the big power that everyone wants to have and what the movie is about. But as I said, no spoilers ahead. If you guys are interested, watch the trailer of the movie. It's giving away the story quite well without spoiling too much, so that's kind of neat. But you know, this is where the action is happening. The little problem I had is there is really not that much footage available of this area. You see that quite a few times in an overarching aerial shot, and then you see it in the trailer, and you see it obviously because that's the shot for Disney, what they used for the castle. I don't know if you guys are Disney nerds, but you know, as I am, Disney always has a slight change to the Disney castle in before every movie. You see this shot where the Disney castle is, and then there's like Disney Pixar or Disney movie production or Disney production or whatever this is from at this point, and then you see the castle in which the little light glare is going from the left to the right over the castle, this little light arch which is happening, and then you have this little glimmer at the end which kind of brings you into the magic of Disney, which is the reasoning behind that. But for I think almost 2 decades already, Disney is changing this castle at the very beginning in each and every movie, so you will spot differences in the castle. Normally they do it just slightly, so you won't even be able to tell too much. For example, Pirates of the Caribbean, it was a little bit more of a haunted castle look. I think, you know, Toy Story had something which looked a bit more like the Toy Story element, like a bit more, you know, toy-ish and plastic-ish, and with every movie there is a slight change to the castle, sometimes very subtle, and you really have to look close. But in this case, they really went full in and took this mountain instead of the castle itself. You know, speaking in Sylph's words, this is a weenie in its own already, because that's just like a freaking huge thing in the middle here. And I have a little issue with the map I built this in, just to give you a little idea, because this mountain thing is, as I said, a weenie, and there's one very cool shot I actually wanted to do for the thumbnail, but it didn't work out. There's a brilliant shot in the movie where you have the sunset going behind the mountain and goes through the little hole of the, you know, punch hole of the donut, and that looks fantastic. The problem is though, on this particular map in Planet Zoo, you can't see the sunset really that nice because, well, in fact, there are too many mountains around it. They block it off. So I would have needed to use the temperate map. However, the temperate map wouldn't have worked because the texture of the ground is not really supporting my idea here. So, yeah, well, that's what it is. You know, we needed to die one time, and we did die here with the sunset, which is a little bit unfortunate, but this is what I needed to do. So going ahead, you can see I'm building the blueprint of this little not castle, temple. I don't even know what this is more like a temple, I think. And I wanted to, just create this one scene. And there's one scene in the movie where Raya is sitting with her dad on, I think it is the breakfast table or whatever. And they're looking out of the window, which is exactly what I'm building over here. This is the window in front. And this is going to be the shelter for the macaque monkeys, because the macaque monkeys are part of the movie as well. Again, not going to be spoiling this too much, but I think it is macaques though. I guess they were, couldn't really tell, but I think they are macaque monkeys. So, I made this so that this could be the shelter for them. It worked out quite well in the end. I will show you in the real-time part, but again, this is all about making this one bigger appearance of the mountain and not going too much into detail. And there's also a reason why. Okay, so I think everything else I could have done in this build, it potentially wouldn't have even been worth the work. First of all, because people seem sometimes not to appreciate it that much, because it's all about the first impression. Is it good or not? Yes or no? But that shouldn't be too much of a deal for me, because I am doing what I love. However, in here, it starts to become so finicky with all the little builds and stuff, and I wanted to make like a starter map. So I want to leave it open to you guys what you do with this build. And so this is the reason why I stopped doing more than what I think is needed. And this is this base building on top here. There will be a connection by a pathway. There will be everything arranged. This is a working habitat in the end, and everything is connected. And I think this is, in terms of work, it was, again, way too much work already. So not gonna lie, this was already pretty much a lot of work. And I even, I did so many different iterations on this castle to make it somewhat look the way I wanted it to look. And again, not having too many reference images made me then go somewhat a little bit loose at some point. Just to get into a look that I was liking, actually. So you will see I'm doing this roof design now with the simple art shapes. I can already spoil you. I did not keep that. It just didn't grow on me. It didn't look good. I wanted to keep it simple and maybe reduce the amount of pieces we are using here. But then again, nah. It just never really grew on me that it looked good enough. So I decided to scrap it and just keep it a bit more detailed by using these same roof piece stones I used beforehand. I still kept it in to talk about the fact that sometimes, I mostly cut these things out of my builds. So sometimes people just come over and ask, hey, why are you so crazy creative and why is everything so good? And I want you guys to still know and remind you that not everything you see on the YouTube videos, not only from me, but also other creators. This is always the final version of what we build, okay? So you barely even see the testing, you barely even see all the things that didn't work out, because we tend to, either not record it or just cut it out because no one wants to see that. So, I just kept it in to remind you guys, not everything you see is the final version, or has been the final version from the beginning. So we do a lot of testing, we do a lot of trial and error, and honestly, we have a lot of stuff that looks just like crap. Maybe one day I have a lot of old save files of stuff that never got released, also in Planet Coaster. I should show you sometimes, because this really helps you to understand that it all comes with a lot of patience and time invested into the build. So not everything we build is good because we are so creative or we are so whatever. We are not. We just invest a lot of time and patience into these builds until they look the way they look. So just as a little hint of bravery for you, or whatever you want to call that, don't stop just there where you are right now, guys. If you're not happy with your builds, just go on and try something different until you are happy. This is what I'm doing over here. I just wasn't happy, and I know that for, let's say, 90% of the people, maybe it would have been even enough and they wouldn't even have mind the roof design, but I did. I wasn't happy with it, so I decided to do another one over here, and just to make it look better in fact, and in a way more suitable and fitting to the overall build. And this is what I just meant. Don't stop where you are. Just go on until you're happy, and then you will learn certain things. You will learn over time what works, what doesn't work. You will learn over time what you are pretty much capable of and what you're not. You will learn over time which skills you want to delve deeper into and develop, and which skills you already have and you can use to grow, to let them grow on you, and just explore more than what you've already had, which I will always suggest. Go with what you can do already at the very beginning, because that helps you to build confidence, and confidence is very important when it comes to these things, because the more confidence you develop in this game and with the building, the more trial and error you will do, because you have certain things that already work, and this gives you a strong foundation for what you want to do in the future. So don't stop where you are, just go a step further and develop the things you can actually do quite well, and then you can just basically go on from there. Anyways, let's talk about a little bit more about this build heart over here from the movie. So now we are starting to bring in a lot of foliage, and if you will put in Raya and the Last Dragon as a search item on YouTube, you will get this promotion shot on which I think Raya is standing on the left with her little animal thingy. I think it's an armadillo or something like that. And then you see on the right hand side, you see the big mountain of heart, which is exactly what I wanted to do over here. And I think I really succeeded in making it really look good at the end. It was a little bit more work than I thought it was, because putting all these mountains down, these plants down and trees down, made me realize that this thing wasn't even as huge as I thought it was. So I I kind of had the feeling that I was building freaking huge at the beginning, but then I figured, well, it's not really that big because the trees in the game are also kind of huge. So for the most part, they are huge AF. And so I needed to just kind of realize something, that I have to, make something a bit more tricky and a bit more fake over here to make sure that it looks bigger than it actually is. So you can see I'm sinking down a lot of trees and then using some smaller trees to make them appear as if they stick out, so that in total the mountain looks bigger than it actually is. This is kind of a forced perspective thing here, using some bigger trees down there on the ground to make sure that you have the feeling, okay, this is the size of a tree, so this thing has to be even more huge. And then you put some smaller trees on top, which then your brain is connecting to the bigger trees, and then you really think, okay, well, they are huge as well, so that must be very high. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it worked out somehow, and I think it looks very cool, and you can do a lot with it if you guys want to build in this zoo file. I think it's pretty cool. You can do a lot of stuff with it. I chose the monkeys on top there simply because I felt, they fit to the movie. They are part of the movie, so why not? There are some other animals you could use as well if you fancy that, but for me, this was what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to really go for this one look over here of this castle on top, because I found this a very nice design of Disney, really nicely done. I loved it, and this is why I wanted to create it. A very brief one, because I am working already in the background on another movie habitat. In fact, I was already working on that one for longer, but then this just came around the corner. We watched the movie and I just had the feeling I want to make this one. So promises ahead, you won't need to wait another half year for the next movie habitat. There is something planned and I'm really building on that, but this is going to be a lot more detailed than this one over here, and so it's going to take some time. We gotta have to wait what baby does, so maybe it's taking quite some weeks though, but this is mostly down to the baby then and not to the fact that I'm already building it. So yeah, kind of cool. I made this little design here of these towers now, just making sure that this from down looks like a real temple and stuff like that. I put down some facilities just so that it works. I've hidden them in here. I didn't do much about them because you will potentially relocate them anyway, so I decided to just leave them there just for the sake of making it work for the moment. But then again, in the future, if you want to build in this file, you will definitely have the chance to change this according to your liking and put it to the locations where you think it fits best. So yeah, just left them there as it goes. And then the last thing I'm going to do here is a little bridge cover, just so that you're entering this area, you have already quite a fun little nice bridge design. It's just very simple, nothing crazy going on here. Just making a stone bridge. I remember there is a stone bridge as well in the movie. I've no clue exactly how it looked. I didn't really look it up that much now, because I think it's easier and better to just build it myself and then just get this design in, be happy about the design, and then leave it as a great new foundation for you. I think this is pretty much what I wanted to get out to you, because now we are really already getting to the end of the time lapse and I will show it to you in real time. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's movie habitat. It's another edition now, movie habitat series. If you guys are interested in more of these things like Planet of the Apes, Star Wars, The Mandalorian, Jumanji, I've got a lot of them, and they will be all linked in the description as the movie habitat playlist, or to the top right in the little bubbles. So in case you want to check out the other movie habitat, they are all available here on YouTube. And now thank you so much for watching this time lapse. We will jump over into the real-time part now, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I talk to you in a couple of seconds in the real-time part. Alright, hey everyone, here we are in the real-time part, and you can see I'm zoomed in quite a little bit because there's a reason why. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. And boom, the dome is gone. Yeah, the draw distance is a little bit of a pity in this build, but yeah, you can see this is how the build turned out to be looking. And I'm just going to zoom in. Come on, appear. Oh no, it's not going to appear. Oh my god, this is as close as we have to get. There's a little trick to do this by using the Ansel mode. I mean, you can't really do it if you don't have a NVIDIA card that supports Ansel, but I can do it this way, and so you can see at least we get a bit of a nicer view here. This looks kind of cool, to be honest, not gonna lie. This is kind of cool, almost like the thumbnail is, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out to be looking. So let me just give you a quick tour. So this is the mountainscape. As you can see, this is the heart thing, like I don't even know if the mountain is called Heart or if it's just a region, but this is definitely the little mountain thing, which is in fact in the center of a river in the actual movie and not in a pond like I did over here. But you know, since we don't have rivers in the game, which by the way would be a cool thing, you know, having a map that supports a river, that would be something really cool, to be honest. Something you can't, maybe you can only use the river but not terraform. That would be cool, would be a good challenge. Anyhow, so you can see this is the temple build, and again the real focus of the build lied into this central dome with like the little flower design, the blossom design on top here, and then this front where they sit. So you can see this is like the view you have over here, sitting down here. I love the pattern in the roof, to be honest. I left it the way it is because it looked kind of interesting. And then they sit down here. This is like the breakfast scene, and you look outside, and there is where your kingdom would be, but this is how it is. And this, as you can see, has become the shelter for our little macaque friends over here. You can see they're sitting, and I'm just gonna quickly show you that I'm not going to tell you shit or whatever. This is definitely gonna be a working habitat. Look at that. They can get everywhere on here. I intentionally made sure that they can't get here because they would kind of break out with these things. But it's kind of cool because most of the traversable area is actually on top of the trees, which I think is fine, because this is how it should be. You can see they have some plateaus here on top of the trees, which I think is kind of cool. And then they can take all that way up here and go all the way to the top. I should definitely, you know, re-emphasize that with this amount of animals, it takes a while until they're running around. So maybe you would now want to put a lot more animals in here to make sure that they are moving all around here. But it's kind of cool. Let me just see where all the animals are. I think... Okay, so 1, 2... Oh, they're all down here. 1, 2, 3. I wonder, you know, shall we just test this real quick? I wonder what happens if we are going to put one all the way up here. I want to see if it's moving down. Let me just quickly see. So it shall be brought over there. There you go. Fly that thing over. I'm just gonna see if this one is going to... Oops, no. Yeah, it's nearly impossible to click that one. Look, it's gonna go into the bush. I love the fact that, you know, if you put things into the ground, they really don't act as a barrier, and then animals really go through bushes, which I think is cool. Keep that in mind. It always helps. It's actually just very hard then to click the animal because you basically click the bushes all of the time. But I like the fact how animals then just move through bushes as it is in real life. This is specifically great for big cats, by the way. If you want to make some big cat stuff and have some cool shots of animals go through bushes, make sure to not use normal bushes, but use like trees that you sink into the ground, because the hitbox is very much lower down, and then they go through this one on top like through a bush. I think this is phenomenal and looks kind of cool. Now this one is running around here. Let's see where it's going. It's kind of cool though. I'm not gonna lie. I love the fact that they can move up here. Can I just click it? Not really though. Like so many. Oh boy, what a jump. What a jump. Now run down. Let's see if you all around, all the way down, all the way down. Let's see where it's going. There's also a sprinkler. I put a sprinkler there as a little enrichment, so they have a reason to go there. But yeah, you can see they can actually move on top here, and this is the habitat. And you can see I also put some clouds in, like cloud effects. If the performance is not as good for you, you can basically go here. This is a group. and then just delete the group. That's also kind of helpful because it takes a lot of FPS for some people, just as a little hint. But I like the fact that we have a cloud there. In real life there is one as well, like in the movie, but yeah, so this should be it. There's not really that much more to talk about because, as I said, this is just a starter map. If you guys want to build like a little zoo on this wonderfully created terraformed area, and by the way, the emphasis on the front, there is not much done on the back side, so if you guys want to do this, also fine, but this is the star of the show. This is what I wanted to create, and we can also see, just like turning around the light a little, you can see this is the front light, very nice, but if you turn this all the way around, you can see this is where the sun goes down, the sunset thing I talked about in the speed build, and it's kind of impossible to bring this down here. Look, this is the closest I can get. Oops. But then again, the light is really not doing what it should. So it looks okay, you know, it's looking really okay, but it's definitely too dark already here in the front. Whoops. And you can't really do much about it. So if I do it back, you can see it's taking a while until you have the sun like it should be, and it's not reddish enough for having these like afternoon. This is the one you would need, you know, the afternoon glimmering light. That would be cool, but then again, you just cannot get the sun in between this opening hole here, which is just a pity. But yeah, so let's not talk too much about it. Let's keep it in this lighting. It looks kind of cool though. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, the movie habitat. If you did enjoy it, let me know by clicking the like button or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, if you want to see more movie habitats, put your ideas down below in the comments what you would love to see realized as a movie habitat. I always love the inspiration, and maybe we see this build in the future. Thank you so much for your support, and have a nice day. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.